Have you ever paused to reflect on what happens when you are lost in thought? It feels as though you are actively engaging with something. But what exactly? Are you listening to your own voice? Or is it something deeper? A subtle narrative that runs in the background, sometimes whispering truths, other times fabricating fears? This constant stream of thoughts is what we often call the inner voice. It narrates your life, judges your actions, replays past events, and predicts future outcomes. While it is natural to rely on this voice for guidance, it can sometimes feel like relentless chatter, pulling you away from the present moment. Instead of enjoying the now, you are stuck analyzing the past or worrying about a future that has not yet arrived. The first step to understanding this phenomenon is recognizing that the voice in your head is not you. It is a mental construct, a mechanism evolved to process experiences and keep you safe. However, this voice often oversteps its bounds, creating unnecessary stress, doubt, and fear. Think of it as a well-meaning but overzealous companion who constantly comments on everything. Not to help, but to maintain control. Consider this scenario. You are sitting in a beautiful park, surrounded by vibrant colors and the gentle hum of nature. Yet, instead of appreciating the scene, your inner voice intrudes. What if I forgot something important? Did I say the wrong thing to my friend yesterday? This intrusion robs you of the peace and joy of simply being present. The key to breaking free from this mental noise is to realize that you are not the voice. You are the observer. The thoughts in your head are like passing clouds, constantly shifting and changing. They may occupy your mind, but they do not define who you are. By stepping into the role of the observer, you create space between yourself and your thoughts, allowing you to experience a sense of calm and clarity. Here is a simple exercise to begin this process. Close your eyes and listen to the voice in your head. What is it saying? Is it planning, analyzing, or worrying? Do not try to stop it, just observe. Notice how the thoughts flow and shift. This practice helps you see your inner voice for what it is. A tool, not the essence of your being. When you observe without judgment, you reclaim control. The voice may still be there, but its power diminishes. You begin to see it as background noise rather than the defining soundtrack of your life. This shift in perspective can transform your relationship with yourself and the world around you. The realization that you are not your thoughts is profound. For most of us, the voice in our head feels inseparable from our identity. It shapes how we see ourselves, dictates how we feel, and influences how we act. But what if that voice is just a product of your mind, not the essence of who you are? Let us explore this concept further. When a thought arises, there are two distinct entities involved: the speaker and the listener. The speaker is your inner voice, constantly commenting on your life. The listener, however, is the true you, the consciousness that observes these thoughts without getting caught up in them. Imagine watching a movie in a theater. The screen displays vivid scenes, and you are drawn into the story. But no matter how engaging the film is, you remain seated in your chair, separate from what is happening on screen. Your inner thoughts are like that movie. They can be captivating, emotional, or even overwhelming, but they are not you. You are the observer, watching them unfold. This distinction is powerful because it gives you a choice. Instead of being swept away by every thought and emotion, you can step back and observe them with detachment. This does not mean ignoring your thoughts or suppressing them. It means acknowledging them for what they are, temporary and transient, without letting them define your reality. Why is this distinction so important? Because when you identify too closely with your inner voice, you become its prisoner. If it says, "I am not good enough," you believe it. If it predicts failure, you accept it as truth. But when you recognize that you are the observer, not the voice, you gain the freedom to challenge these narratives. A helpful practice for cultivating this awareness is called thought labeling. Whenever a thought arises, simply label it. For example, if you find yourself worrying about an upcoming meeting, label it as worry. If your mind replays a past mistake, label it as memory. This simple act of naming creates a gap between you and the thought, reminding you that it is just a fleeting moment, not an enduring truth. The reason we often mistake the voice for ourselves lies in its evolutionary purpose. The mind has evolved as a survival tool, designed to analyze situations, predict dangers, and solve problems. While this has been crucial for our survival, it can also create unnecessary stress by overanalyzing and imagining threats that do not exist. Understanding this can help you approach your inner voice with compassion. Instead of seeing it as an enemy, recognize it as a tool that is trying to help, albeit in an overactive way. By observing it calmly and without judgment, you can harness its strengths without being dominated by its weaknesses. To illustrate this, imagine sitting by a river. The water flows continuously, carrying leaves and debris downstream. If you jump into the river, you will be swept away by the current. But if you sit on the bank and watch, you remain grounded. Your thoughts are like that river. When you observe them from the bank, you maintain clarity and peace, no matter how turbulent the flow may be. In conclusion, recognizing that you are not your thoughts but the observer of them is a transformative insight. It allows you to reclaim your sense of self, free from the noise of the mind. This practice of observation creates a foundation for inner peace and clarity, helping you navigate life with a greater sense of freedom and presence. The voice in your head is not inherently harmful. In fact, it exists to help you make sense of the world, plan ahead, and learn from past experiences. However, the problem arises when this voice becomes overactive, filling every moment with a stream of thoughts that are often unnecessary or even counterproductive. This continuous mental noise can create stress, anxiety, and a persistent sense of unease. Think about how this voice operates. It doesn't just observe or comment, it often exaggerates, distorts, and amplifies. It replays past arguments, anticipates problems that may never happen, and creates worries that hold no basis in reality. For instance, you might find yourself thinking, "What if I mess up during the presentation tomorrow?" Or, "Why did they look at me like that earlier?" These thoughts might seem harmless at first, but over time, they build up, creating a mental environment filled with tension. Let's consider an analogy. Imagine you're in a movie theater, but instead of focusing on the screen, there's someone sitting next to you, whispering non-stop. Why is the actor doing that? What will happen next? Do you think this movie will have a happy ending? This constant commentary distracts you from the experience, preventing you from fully immersing yourself in the story. The same thing happens with your inner voice. It keeps you from living in the present moment, pulling you into a web of unnecessary thinking. But why does the mind do this? The answer lies in its survival instincts. The human brain is wired to detect and respond to potential threats. This ability was essential for our ancestors, who faced immediate dangers like predators or natural disasters. However, in modern life, these survival mechanisms often misfire, interpreting everyday challenges as threats. The result is a mind that's perpetually on alert, generating thoughts to predict and control every situation. While this might sound overwhelming, there is hope. The first step to addressing this mental noise is to recognize it for what it is: a habitual pattern of thinking, not an absolute reality. By observing your thoughts without judgment, you can begin to disentangle yourself from them. This practice doesn't require you to stop thinking altogether, which is impossible, but rather to create space between you and the thoughts. Here's a simple exercise. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Notice the thoughts that arise, but instead of engaging with them, imagine they're clouds drifting across the sky. You don't chase them or push them away, you simply watch as they come and go. Over time, this practice helps you cultivate a sense of presence, allowing you to experience life more fully. The ultimate goal is not to silence the voice in your head but to change your relationship with it. When you stop identifying with every thought, you free yourself from its grip. You begin to see the world with greater clarity, unburdened by the constant commentary that once clouded your perception. Breaking free from the constant chatter of the mind is not only possible but transformative. Imagine living a life where your thoughts no longer control you, where you can observe them without being consumed. This is the essence of true inner freedom, a state where you experience life directly, unfiltered by the endless stream of mental noise. To begin this journey, it's essential to understand the nature of the mind. The mind thrives on activity. It loves to think, analyze, and solve problems. While this can be beneficial in certain contexts, it becomes a problem when the mind starts to dominate every aspect of your life. Instead of being a tool you use, the mind becomes the master, dictating how you feel and react. Take a moment to reflect on your daily life. How often do you find yourself caught up in thoughts about the past or future? Maybe you replay a conversation, wondering if you said the right thing, or you plan every detail of an upcoming event, worrying about what could go wrong. While these thoughts might seem helpful, They often prevent you from being present. Life is happening right now. Yet your mind keeps pulling you away, trapping you in a cycle of endless thinking. So how can you break free? The first step is awareness. Begin by observing your thoughts as they arise. Notice their patterns. Do they focus on regret, fear, or planning? Once you become aware of these tendencies, you can start to distance yourself from them. Remember, you are not your thoughts, you are the observer, the silent witness behind the noise. A practical technique for this is mindfulness meditation. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. As thoughts arise, acknowledge them without judgment and gently return your focus to your breath. This practice trains your mind to remain anchored in the present moment, reducing the power of mental chatter over time. Another powerful tool is gratitude. When your mind is busy worrying or analyzing, it's easy to overlook the simple joys of life. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be something as small as a warm cup of tea or as profound as a meaningful conversation. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, helping to quiet the mind and foster a sense of peace. Breaking free from mental chatter also involves letting go of control. The mind often tries to predict and control every aspect of life, believing this will bring security. However, true freedom comes from surrendering to the flow of life, trusting that things will unfold as they're meant to. This doesn't mean being passive but rather accepting that not everything is within your control. By letting go, you create space for clarity and spontaneity. Finally, remember that this is a journey, not a destination. The mind's chatter won't disappear overnight. And that's okay. The goal isn't perfection but progress. Each moment of awareness, each instance where you choose to observe rather than react, brings you closer to a state of inner peace. In conclusion, freedom from mental chatter is about reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that you are not the thoughts that arise in your mind but the observer who watches them. By cultivating awareness, practicing mindfulness, and embracing gratitude, you can transform your relationship with your inner voice, creating a life filled with clarity, presence, and peace. Emotional baggage is something we all carry. Often unknowingly, it weighs us down, colors our perceptions, and influences how we react to life's challenges. But what if I told you that most of this baggage isn't caused by the events themselves but by our refusal to let go of them? Painful memories, unresolved anger, and lingering fears tend to stick around not because they have to but because we cling to them, replaying the past and resisting the present. To understand this better, consider a common scenario. Imagine a disagreement with a close friend. The argument might last only a few minutes, but your mind replays it for hours. Analyzing every word, tone, and gesture, you relive the hurt and frustration, amplifying the emotional impact far beyond the original event. This process doesn't just keep you stuck in the past, it drains your energy and prevents you from being fully present in the now. The key to letting go of emotional baggage lies in acceptance. This doesn't mean condoning what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. Instead, it's about allowing yourself to feel the emotions fully without letting them define you. Emotions are like waves, they rise, peak, and eventually fade away if you let them. But when you resist them, trying to suppress or hold on to them, they become stagnant, turning into the emotional weight you carry everywhere. Here's a simple exercise to help you let go. Think of a memory or situation that has been weighing on you. Close your eyes and notice how it feels in your body. Is there tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or tension in your shoulders? Instead of trying to push the feeling away, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I see you, I feel you, and I release you. Take a deep breath and imagine the tension loosening with each exhale. This practice might feel awkward at first, but with time, it becomes a powerful tool for emotional release. Letting go is also about reframing your perspective. Often, we hold on to pain because we feel it justifies our suffering or validates our experiences. But carrying this pain doesn't serve you, it only prolongs your hurt. By choosing to release it, you're not dismissing the significance of what happened. Instead, you're reclaiming your power and deciding to live free from its grip. It's important to note that letting go isn't a one-time event. Some emotions are deeply rooted, tied to past experiences that left scars. They might resurface repeatedly, and that's okay. Each time they arise, use it as an opportunity to practice release. Over time, the intensity will lessen, and you'll find yourself moving through life with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Control is something we all crave. It feels safe, reassuring, and empowering, but the truth is, the more we try to control every aspect of our lives, the more we realize how little control we actually have. This realization can be terrifying at first, but it's also the gateway to freedom. By surrendering the illusion of control, you open yourself to life's natural flow, experiencing a sense of peace that can't be achieved through force or resistance. Think about how often you try to control outcomes. Maybe you meticulously plan a conversation, only for it to take an unexpected turn. Or you work tirelessly to shape your career, only to end up in a completely different place. These experiences can be frustrating, but they're also reminders that life is too vast and complex to be contained within the boundaries of your expectations. The illusion of control doesn't just create stress, it disconnects you from the present moment. When you're focused on controlling the future, you miss the beauty of what's happening right now. It's like standing in a river and trying to redirect its flow. The more you push against the current, the more exhausted you become. But if you let go and flow with it, you'll find that the river naturally carries you forward. Surrendering control doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means shifting your focus from outcomes to actions. You show up, do your best, and then let life unfold as it will. This mindset doesn't just reduce stress, it enhances your ability to adapt and respond to whatever comes your way. Here's a practical exercise to help you embrace surrender. Think of something you're currently trying to control, whether it's a decision, a relationship, or an outcome. Close your eyes and notice how it feels in your body. Is there tension, anxiety, or a sense of urgency? Now take a deep breath and imagine releasing that need to control. Picture yourself opening your hands, letting go of the reins you've been gripping so tightly. Say to yourself, I release this. I trust the process. Trusting the process is a vital part of surrender. It's about believing that life has its own rhythm and wisdom, even when things don't go as planned. This trust doesn't eliminate challenges or hardships, but it changes how you experience them. Instead of resisting, you learn to flow, finding opportunities and lessons in even the most unexpected situations. In conclusion, breaking free from the illusion of control is about embracing uncertainty with grace. It's about accepting that while you can influence your actions and attitudes, you can't dictate every detail of your life. By letting go, you create space for spontaneity, growth, and joy, a life that's not just lived but truly experienced. Living with an open heart is one of the most courageous and transformative choices you can make. It means embracing vulnerability, letting go of fear, and allowing yourself to fully experience the joys and sorrows of life. For many of us, however, the idea of opening our hearts feels risky. Past pain, fear of rejection, or the desire to protect ourselves often leads us to build walls that keep us isolated. While these walls may feel like safeguards, they also prevent us from experiencing the richness of life and the depth of human connection. Why do we close our hearts? The answer often lies in fear of being hurt, misunderstood, or judged. When we face challenges or experience emotional wounds, our natural instinct is to retreat and protect ourselves. Over time, these defenses become habits, creating barriers that block us from the love, joy, and connection we crave. But here's the truth. Living with a closed heart may shield you from pain, but it also cuts you off from the beauty and fulfillment of being fully alive. Opening your heart starts with a willingness to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but in reality, it's one of the greatest strengths you can possess. It's about being honest with yourself and others, allowing your authentic self to be seen. When you live with an open heart, you give yourself permission to feel deeply, to connect meaningfully, and to grow through life's challenges. Here's a simple practice to help you start. Think about someone or something you love deeply, a person, a pet, or even a cherished memory. Close your eyes and focus on the feeling of love. Let it fill your chest, expanding outward with each breath. Imagine sending this love out into the world, radiating warmth and kindness. This exercise helps you connect with your emotions and reminds you of the power of an open heart. Living openly also involves letting go of perfectionism. Too often, we hold back because we fear we're not enough or that our efforts won't measure up. But life isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up, flaws and all. By accepting yourself as you are, you create space for genuine connection and authentic experiences. Another key aspect of living with an open heart is practicing presence. When you're fully present, you experience life as it is, not as your mind projects it to be. This presence allows you to engage with the world around you, savoring small joys and finding peace in the midst of challenges. In conclusion, living with an open heart is a choice you make every day. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. By embracing vulnerability, practicing presence, and letting go of fear, you unlock a life filled with meaning, connection, and boundless love. What does it mean to be truly free? Many people associate freedom with external circumstances, having no responsibilities, escaping hardship, or living without limitations. But true freedom goes beyond external factors. It's an internal state of being. It's about embracing life fully, without being bound by fear, doubt, or the need for control. True freedom is living in alignment with your authentic self, free from the chains of mental chatter and emotional baggage. Achieving this kind of freedom begins with a shift in perspective. Freedom isn't something you attain by changing the world around you. It's something you uncover within yourself. It's about realizing that you don't have to be defined by your thoughts, emotions, or circumstances. You are the observer, the consciousness behind all these experiences. And this awareness is the foundation of true freedom. To understand this better, imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is howling, rain is pouring, and chaos surrounds you. Yet, at your core, there is a stillness, a calm, unshakable center that remains untouched by the external turbulence. This stillness represents your true self, the part of you that is always at peace, no matter what life throws your way. Cultivating this inner freedom requires practice. One effective method is mindfulness. By bringing your attention to the present moment, you break free from the stories your mind tells about the past or future. For example, when you're washing dishes, focus on the sensation of the water, the sound of the soap bubbles, and the rhythm of your movements. This simple act grounds you in the now, reducing the grip of mental distractions. Another key to freedom is acceptance. Life is unpredictable, and not everything will go as planned. Instead of resisting what you can't change, practice acceptance. This doesn't mean giving up. It means acknowledging reality as it is and responding with grace. Acceptance allows you to let go of unnecessary suffering and focus your energy on what truly matters. Gratitude is another powerful tool for achieving freedom. When you shift your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, you experience a sense of fullness and contentment. Each day, take a moment to reflect on the things you're grateful for, a kind gesture, a beautiful sunset, or even the simple act of breathing. Gratitude helps you see life's blessings, freeing you from the constant pursuit of more. Finally, true freedom involves letting go of perfectionism and self-judgment. You are not your mistakes or shortcomings. By embracing your imperfections, you free yourself from the pressure to meet unrealistic standards and open the door to self-compassion. In conclusion, true freedom is not about escaping life's challenges but about embracing them with an open heart and a calm mind. It's about living fully, authentically, and with a sense of inner peace that no external circumstances can shake. By cultivating awareness, acceptance, and gratitude, you unlock the freedom that has always been within you. Thank you for staying until the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Value Gold, so you won't miss any upcoming valuable content. Hit the like button, share this video with those who might need it, and leave a comment below to share your thoughts or questions. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. See you in the next one.